Did you know there's a way to make any narcissist immediately respect you without needing to argue, scream, or humiliate yourself? If you've reached here, it's because you're already tired of being treated like a doormat, walking on eggshells, and constantly feeling small in the presence of this person who controls your life. What you're about to discover will shock you. While everyone teaches you confrontation, revenge, standing up for yourself, there's a hidden truth that narcissists themselves don't want you to know. They're much more fragile than they seem. In reality, they're deadly afraid of one specific thing that you can use against them right now. For years you believed the problem was with you, that you weren't strong enough, smart enough, that if you changed something, this person would finally treat you well. But the truth is, you were fighting a war you didn't need to fight, using weapons that only made you lose more. Today, this ends. Today you'll learn 9 psychological secrets that will transform you into a person they can no longer manipulate. These aren't pretty theories from self-help books. These are real techniques that work with every narcissist: your controlling mother, manipulative boss, ex-partner who won't leave you alone, any person who turned your life into emotional hell. But before I continue, I must warn you about something. What you'll learn will hurt. It will hurt because you'll realize how much time you wasted trying to earn love from someone who was never capable of true love. It will hurt because you'll have to accept that some people simply don't deserve your heart. But this pain will transform into the greatest strength of your life. Because when you understand how their mind works, when you know exactly where to press to make them respect you, your life will change forever. The first secret that destroys every narcissist is something so simple you'll be surprised. Stop reacting. But this isn't just any kind of coldness. This is a specific technique that affects their mind in a way they never expect. You know that moment when they release that sentence to hurt you? That poisonous comment that always worked to diminish you? Next time this happens, you'll do something revolutionary. You'll look at them like you're looking at a wall. No anger, no sadness, no nothing. Just emptiness. This will break their brain, because the only thing they know how to do is provoke reactions. That's how they feel powerful. When you cry, when you scream, when you defend yourself, they feed off it. It's the fuel that keeps their inflated ego running. But when you give nothing, when you stand there expressionless, something terrible happens in their mind. They realize they've lost control over you, and this drives them to desperation. You'll see how they try harder and harder to provoke you, saying nonsense after nonsense because they can't understand why the trick isn't working. This silence isn't a sign of weakness on your part. It's a sign of intelligence. It's understanding that your energy is worth gold and shouldn't be wasted on someone who only wants to destroy you. When you stop feeding the monster, it starts to shrink. The first time you do this, prepare yourself. They'll be disoriented. They'll try even harder. They might even pretend to be hurt so you'll go back to reacting. But you'll maintain your stance, because now you know the secret. They need you more than you need them. And tell me, from what city are you watching? I love knowing that people from all over America are freeing themselves from these toxic people, because when you master this first technique, you'll be ready for the second secret, which will make them beg for your return. There's a simple sentence consisting of just 5 words that can destroy years of control a narcissist has over you. When you say these words, you'll see desperation in their eyes. You'll see how they lose ground under their feet, because this sentence attacks exactly their weakest point. But before I tell you what it is, you need to understand one thing. Narcissists live in a fantasy where they're the center of the universe. In their heads, you exist to validate their inflated ego. You're like a satellite orbiting their planet. Your function is to applaud, obey, and never, ever leave orbit. Now imagine the destruction when you look them straight in the eyes and say calmly, "I'm not interested anymore." 5 words that blow up their reality. 5 words that communicate something devastating. You've left the game. What makes this sentence so powerful isn't aggressiveness. It's exactly the opposite. It's calm, it's certainty. It's your declaration of emotional independence without asking for permission. You're not arguing. You're not justifying. You're simply informing that the rules have changed. They'll try everything to make you return to the old game. They'll become aggressive. They'll use emotional blackmail. They'll try to make you feel guilty. Some will even pretend they've changed, that now they'll treat you well. But you won't fall for it, because now you know that this entire reaction is proof that you hit the bullseye. The secret lies in what you do after saying those words. You withdraw. You don't stay to see the reaction. You don't explain anything. You don't get into discussion. You simply leave. This dignified withdrawal seals the power of your statement. When you combine this sentence with the right attitude, they realize something that terrorizes them. You've evolved. You're no longer the same person they could control, and this puts them in a state of panic they've never felt before. But for this technique to work 100%, you need the third secret, which is even more devastating. The third secret is the hardest to master, but also the most powerful. You'll learn to become completely indifferent toward them. I'm not talking about pretending indifference while suffering inside. I'm talking about true transformation, where they literally stop existing for you emotionally. Think about that person you see in the elevator in the building. You greet out of politeness, but they don't stir any feelings in you. No love, no hate, no curiosity. They're just irrelevant. That's exactly what you'll feel toward the narcissist when you master this technique. It happens that narcissists feed on intense emotions. It doesn't matter if it's love or hate. What's important is that you feel something strong toward them. When you love, they feel special. When you hate, they also feel special, because at least you're still important to them. But when you feel nothing, when they speak and you listen like the sound of rain, when they try to provoke you and you respond with the same energy you'd use to greet the doorman, this breaks them from the inside. True indifference is like poison to narcissists. They'd rather you hate them than be indifferent, because hate at least confirms they still have power over your emotions, but indifference erases them from the map. It makes them invisible. And for someone who lives to be the center of attention, this is worse than death. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It begins when you accept the painful but liberating truth. This person will never give you what you need. Not because they don't want to, but because they can't. It's like expecting a blind person to see colors. When this awareness truly reaches you, when you stop expecting, trying, believing that someday it will be different, something is released in you. You realize you wasted years of your life trying to squeeze water from a stone, and then you'll experience something incredible. You'll look at this person who previously controlled your emotions, and you won't feel absolutely anything, like you're looking at any object. The fourth secret that makes narcissists respect you is building boundaries that are like steel walls. But I'm not talking about those soft boundaries you tried before, which they constantly trample. I'm talking about absolute, unbreakable boundaries that clearly communicate, "You messed with me, this ended badly." Most people set boundaries like they're asking, "Please, don't yell at me." This isn't a boundary, it's begging. Narcissists see this as an invitation to trample you even more. They test, provoke, and cross because they know you really won't do anything. But a real boundary works differently. It's not a request, it's a communication. It's not a negotiation, it's information. If you yell at me, I'm leaving the conversation. Period. Straight. Direct. And most importantly, when they yell, you leave. No discussion, no second chance, no, "I'll endure it this time." The difference lies in consequences. A boundary without consequences is theater. It's like a law that isn't enforced. Everyone ignores it. But when you establish a rule and apply it every time it's broken, they realize you're not joking. Imagine the scene. They try to humiliate you in front of others, like they always did. Except this time, instead of standing there and enduring it or trying to defend yourself, you simply say, "I won't be here any longer," and leave. No drama, no explanations, no making the show they want. This will deeply disorient them. Because narcissists are used to people who stay to argue or beg. Your calm departure communicates something they can't process. You no longer need their approval. Every time you maintain a boundary, every time you apply a consequence without hesitation, you reclaim a piece of your territory. And narcissists only respect what they can't control. When they see you've become a person of your word, who does what they say, they start treating you differently. Not out of love or admiration, but out of something more powerful. Fear. Fear of losing you. Fear that you'll leave their life forever. And this fear forces them to respect you. But establishing boundaries is just the beginning. Real power comes when you develop the fifth secret, which will shield your self-esteem from every attack. The fifth secret to making narcissists respect you is developing such solid self-esteem that their attacks ricochet without hurting you. It's like wearing emotional armor that protects you from all the poisons they try to inject into your mind. Every narcissist's main strategy is to destroy your self-confidence. They do this through subtle criticism, cruel comparisons, and comments calculated to make you feel inferior. The goal is simple: transform you into a person who needs their validation to feel valuable. But when you build iron self-esteem, something revolutionary happens. Their opinion stops mattering. They can say whatever they want about you, and it won't even scratch your inner peace. It's like they're shooting stones at a concrete wall. This mental shield isn't arrogance or conceit. It's self-knowledge. It's knowing exactly who you are, recognizing your strengths and accepting your flaws without needing anyone's approval. When you truly love yourself, criticism from those who don't love you loses all its power. Think about it this way. If a homeless person on the street said you were ugly, would it devastate you? Of course not. Why? Because their opinion doesn't matter to you. That's exactly what you need to feel toward the narcissist. The opinion of someone who only wants to destroy you simply can't have value in your life. A powerful exercise is making a list of your true strengths. They don't have to be big things. I'm punctual. I'm loyal to friends. I cook well. I'm responsible at work. Every strength you recognize in yourself is a brick in your emotional wall. Another exercise is celebrating small daily victories. Did you finish a project? Celebrate. Did you help someone? Appreciate it. Did you make a difficult decision? Appreciate yourself. These small celebrations build a solid foundation of self-worth that no narcissist can shake. When you have armored self-esteem, you radiate an energy of security that they sense from afar. They realize they can no longer manipulate you by making you doubt your own worth, and this breeds in them a mixture of anger and forced respect. But self-esteem alone isn't enough. You need the sixth secret: total mental clarity that cuts through every attempt at confusion. The sixth secret that makes narcissists respect you is developing such sharp mental clarity that they can no longer confuse or manipulate you. When you know exactly what you want and what you won't accept, they lose their main weapon: confusion. Narcissists are masters at creating mental chaos. They love that gray zone where everything is uncertain, where you doubt what's true and what isn't. They rewrite history, change the rules of the game in the middle of the match, and make you question even your own sanity. But when you develop absolute clarity, this strategy stops working. Imagine this situation. They try to pressure you to accept something you know will harm you. Instead of doubting, walking around the subject, or trying to find a compromise, you simply say, no. One word. Simple, direct, final. Without endless justifications, without opening space for debate, without giving room for manipulation. Your clarity cuts through all the confusion they try to create, like a knife cutting through butter. This firmness disorients every narcissist because they count on your hesitation to maintain control. When you stop wavering, when your decisions become crystal clear, they lose their map. They no longer know how to manipulate you because you no longer get lost. Mental clarity comes when you define your values and don't negotiate them with anyone. I don't accept disrespect. I don't tolerate lies. I won't give up my peace. These values become your inner compass that always points north, regardless of the storm they try to create. Practical example: when they try to use emotional blackmail like, if you leave me, I'll kill myself, instead of panicking and giving in, you respond with clarity. That's your choice and your responsibility. My decision remains the same. And you maintain your position without wavering. This clarity isn't coldness or insensitivity. It's emotional intelligence. It's understanding that you're not responsible for other people's feelings or actions. Your only responsibility concerns your own well-being and happiness. When narcissists realize you're no longer available for the mental chaos they love to create, something changes in their behavior. They start treating you more carefully because they know you won't tolerate nonsense. The seventh secret is the most liberating of all: learning to completely detach from the narcissist. I'm not talking about pretending you don't care. I'm talking about true transformation, where you genuinely no longer need anything from this person. The greatest power a narcissist has over you is your emotional need. As long as you still expect love, approval, recognition, or anything from them, you'll be vulnerable. It's like giving the keys to your happiness to someone who only wants to see your suffering. But when you truly detach, when you stop expecting anything positive from this person, something magical happens. You become free. Free to be happy without depending on them. Free to make decisions thinking only of your own good. Free to live in peace. This detachment doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that begins when you accept the fundamental truth. This person will never change. No matter how hard you try, how much you sacrifice, how much you love. They don't have the ability to give you what you deserve. When this awareness truly reaches you, when you stop feeding empty hopes, you'll feel enormous relief. It's like a giant weight fell off your shoulders. You realize you were carrying a burden that wasn't even yours. True detachment manifests in a practical way. When they send you a message trying to manipulate, you no longer feel that coldness in your stomach. When they try to provoke you, you no longer feel anger. When they fake remorse, you no longer feel hope. You simply feel nothing. And this sincere indifference is what most terrorizes narcissists. For them, it's better that you hate them than be indifferent, because hate at least confirms they're still important in your emotional life, but indifference completely erases them. Practical example: when they try to convince you to give one more chance to the relationship, you can calmly respond, "I wish you happiness, but this chapter of my life has already been closed." No anger, no hope, no drama, just stating a fact. This complete detachment is the greatest manifestation of self-love that exists. And paradoxically, it's also the greatest punishment you can give a narcissist, because they realize they've lost all power over you. The eighth secret is a ninja technique, learning to become emotionally invisible to the narcissist. You'll be there physically, but it will be as if you don't exist on their emotional radar. And this will make them completely lost and desperate. Narcissists function like emotional vampires. They need to suck your energy, your reactions, your feelings, to keep themselves psychologically alive. When you cut off this supply, when you become an emotional desert for them, their system crashes. This emotional invisibility isn't obvious ignoring. It's more subtle and therefore more powerful. You respond when necessary, but without emotion. You're physically present, but absent on all other levels. It's like you're a polite robot performing basic functions. Imagine the scene. They enter the room trying to get attention, make comments to provoke you, look at you seeking some reaction, and you simply... nothing. You continue doing what you were doing, as if they were irrelevant. You respond only the necessary minimum, with monosyllables, without emotional charge. This emotional absence will drive them crazy, because they can't read you, they can't predict your reactions, they can't control you. It's like trying to manipulate a wall. And for someone who lives off manipulation, this is desperate. The technique also includes strategic physical absence. Every event you don't go to where they'll be, every environment you avoid because of them, every space you free from their presence, communicates a powerful message. You've left their emotional universe. The most brilliant thing about this technique is that they can't attack directly. There's nothing concrete to criticize. You're not rude, you're not arguing, you're not making drama. You're just absent. And this absence is more devastating than any confrontation. When you master emotional invisibility, you'll notice how desperately they try to provoke you harder and harder. It's pathetic and simultaneously liberating to see how they humiliate themselves trying to extract any reaction from you. But all these techniques combine in the ninth and final secret, which is the definitive transformation. The ninth and final secret is the synthesis of everything you've learned, transforming into a completely untouchable person. When you reach this level, narcissists not only respect you, but they start to fear you, because you represent something they can't understand or control, someone truly free. This transformation isn't just a strategy, it's evolution. It's becoming an armored version of yourself that automatically repels all toxicity. It's like you developed an invisible force field that protects your inner peace from every attack. When you become untouchable, something extraordinary happens. The narcissist realizes they've lost forever. No matter what they do, no matter how they try, they can no longer affect you. Their criticism ricochets, their manipulations fail, their attacks cause no damage. An untouchable person doesn't need to defend themselves because they don't feel attacked. They don't need to justify themselves because they don't doubt their own decisions. They don't need to convince anyone because they're at peace with their choices. This emotional self-sufficiency is what most terrorizes every narcissist. Imagine walking through life with this new energy, completely focused on your well-being, focused on your goals, building healthy relationships based on mutual respect, free from all the drama and toxicity that previously consumed your energy. When the narcissist sees this transformation, they understand something definitive. They've lost you forever. They can't compete with your peace. They can't manipulate your serenity. They can't touch your new inner strength. This understanding breeds in them a mixture of fear and respect they've never felt before. The journey to becoming untouchable requires daily discipline. Every small step you take toward your emotional freedom, every boundary you establish, every moment of strategic silence you practice, brings you closer to this definitive transformation. Remember, it's not about changing the narcissist. It's about transforming into a person they can no longer touch. And when you achieve this transformation, you'll gain something more valuable than any revenge: your complete freedom and total personal power. If you're truly committed to your liberation, write in the comments, "I choose to be free." I want to see who's determined to reverse this game forever, because I know this process can hurt. It might make you see how much time you wasted, how much you let yourself be manipulated, but this pain carries enormous transformative power. It's precisely in this moment that you understand you deserve more, that you must take the next step. That's why I must tell you, these 9 techniques are just the beginning. There's much more I can teach you about complete liberation from narcissistic abuse. You're not alone on this journey. I'm here with you, and together we'll build a life where no narcissist will ever have power over you again. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay with me, because we'll explore these techniques much deeper, which can change your life forever. Your freedom is waiting for you to decide to fight for it.